Hello everyone and welcome to the Unisys ClearPath webinar series. Today's topic, major announcement, new ClearPath Libra systems. Let's get started. Our first speaker for you today is Brian Herklow, Director of ClearPath Solutions and Portfolio Management. And with that, Brian, the audience is yours.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. And today I'd like to run through a brief overview of what we're going to be talking about, including new announcements for the Libra platforms by Diane Towle, with an MCP update from Larry Aube, as well as communications update from Ritva Kangasperko, and services update from Isaac Levy. So we'll be announcing a new host-based product for the MCP operating environment that was first announced with the MCP 16.0 launch, and Larry will run you through that a little bit later on, included with application integration services, which is a new product allowing cross-platform application development, adding inbound .NET calls to MCP file access. But as I said, Larry will run you through all of the MCP feature updates a little bit later on. Our ClearPath software strategy has several elements. The first is to make ClearPath the best choice for mission-critical computing by retaining the attributes of performance, availability, security, and data integrity that you're used to. The second is a focus on evolving industry and regulatory standards around the world, which is becoming an increasing pressure on IT. The third is to add new capabilities in the areas of application modernization, data center transformation, and security. Expanding mission-critical attributes and adding new capabilities enable ClearPath to support additional Unisys solutions. And again, just a minor repetition, Larry will go over key new features with you a little bit later on. ClearPath is pursuing new dynamics, and what we stand for are guiding principles, investments in ClearPath technology addressing scalability, solution modernization capabilities addressing demographic concerns, object code compatibility to simplify migration, and a continued focus on price, performance, and value. Since 2005, our ClearPath strategy has been to evolve to an Intel processor technology, to enable ClearPath solution modernization via specialty engines, and to introduce secure partitioning with the Unisys-developed technology. Along the way, we've been recognized for our technology leadership, confirming the strength of our strategy in technology, and not the least of which, Intel has recognized what we've done. And a direct quote from Intel, it was just last year, Unisys has made a significant breakthrough with its advanced ClearPath architecture, achieving one of the highest levels of security that any systems provider has delivered on the Intel Xeon processor platform. And further, Intel congratulates Unisys on a major step in adding value to our flagship processor technology, expanding the benefits it can bring to secure enterprise computing. So the bottom line is we understand the security that you've come to depend on with ClearPath, and we don't take that lightly. And in the area of investment protection, a quote from the Register, a trade magazine in the UK, other server makers could learn a few tricks about graceful platform transitions from Unisys, or maybe even license the technology from us. They went on to say that Unisys does not get enough credit for this, but its engineers have taken more than 2 decades to learn the eccentricities of the x86 instruction set and create sophisticated hardware environments that allow for Xeon processors to run binary code compiled for both Dorado and Libra CMOS mainframe engines. In short, ClearPath is leading the way to the future for our customers. ClearPath NextGen. NextGen was an internal name simply meaning next generation. Transformed ClearPath by moving to Intel-based technology foundations for the long term with enriched mission-critical functionality, elevated value for core business applications, exploitation of an Intel technology and best-in-class open software, opportunities for significant solution modernization, and assuring solutions keep pushing IT boundaries. The ClearPath architecture transition continues to evolve, and we've turned the innovation curve sharply upward by moving to an agile, extensible fabric to continually drive mission-critical access or mission-critical capabilities across the data center, to enhance performance, reliability, security, and scalability, and to provide an integrated environment for advanced solutions. So what is the fabric? The fabric consists of multiple nodes or platforms with granular partitioning enabled by SPAR, woven together with a high-speed secure interconnect. Each partition or partition complex hosts an operating system instance supporting customer applications and services. The Fabric Interconnect provides communication pathways between the partitions within and between platforms. Management and security are inherent to the Fabric infrastructure, and stealth technology, our highest level of security, provides application communities of interest. In fact, just 3 weeks ago, our stealth technology won the 2014 Tech America Technology Award for cybersecurity. And they went on to say in their press release, not ours, that the American Technology Awards single out the best of the best, and Unisys topped the competition in cybersecurity. And even as recent as last week, the stealth solution has been named a finalist for the 2014 American Business Awards in security software. So what does that mean for ClearPath? In transitioning ClearPath to the Fabric, in 2010 we introduced SPAR that allowed us to bring specialty engines that sat outside the environment connected by networking into the environment in secure partitions. In 2012, we expanded the architecture by distributing the characteristics of the system by separating the processor and memory from the I/O. And now we're moving that complex into the fabric. The key elements of ClearPath: SPAR on Intel technology, bringing secure partitioning technology on Intel x86 servers, a high-speed interconnect to the fabric, which is high-speed, low-latency interconnect providing scalability, security, and high performance. The fabric management, which complements the existing mature ClearPath system management portfolio, providing additional capabilities for enterprise Windows and Linux environments. A common x86 infrastructure across the data center. Specialty partitions, J processor, Q processor, ClearPath ePortal will continue. Q processor and J processor on the Dorado side have been moved into the fabric. And operating system support, ClearPath MCP, ClearPath OS 2200, Microsoft Windows, Red Hat Linux, and SUSE Linux. All of the systems that we announced yesterday and will be announcing today are fabric-based infrastructures. All the new ClearPath systems feature a high-performance fabric integration, distributed architectures, a low-latency interconnect for intra-node communications, and memory-to-memory communications for internal secure partition communication. They have a transparent fabric interface to support agility. We will support up to 12 enterprise partitionable platform nodes, each of which can be split with SPAR into 1 to 12 secure partitions. Variable partition sizes can be aligned with application workload requirements, meaning that each partition can be sized to the application, obviously, with support for general purpose Windows and Linux. Extended security is available via Stealth, and there will be options to incorporate Hadoop for big data assessment. The fabric, to sum up, is organic. It evolves. As new technologies can come in, older technologies can be phased out. The software is being raised above the hardware level. The infrastructure can be added and retired as needed. Application deployment migration is independent of, but dependent on the infrastructure. Workloads are defined and limited by service level agreements, and the interdependencies are not the infrastructure, as new workloads can come in. Older workloads can be retired. And I think I stated a little bit earlier that as new interconnect media comes into the fabric, obsolete interconnect media can be retired. With all of the new platforms that we're talking about today, as of today, we will have introduced 12 new platforms including 6 new platforms for Libra. The new Libra platforms span from the low mid-range to the premium high-end. At the top of the line is the Libra 8300 series, which now fully surpasses the performance capabilities of even our largest proprietary CMOS-based platform and is ahead of schedule. Diane will tell you more about the technical details of the new platforms. And with that, I'll turn it over to Diane. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Brian, and welcome, everyone. This part of the presentation will provide a product overview of the upcoming ClearPath 4300, 6300, and 8300 platforms. They have a planned availability for shipment on June 30. Some of the topics will include our platform roadmap evolution, system attributes, I/O connectivity, performance and product positioning, and supported tape and storage. Today we're announcing the mid-range Libra 4300, high-end Libra 6300, and premium high-end Libra 8300. All platforms are offered with traditional software licenses or metered software licenses. And all of the platforms in blue are Unisys Intel-based platforms. The Libra 8300 premium high-end implementation running the MCP operating system on an enterprise-class Unisys Intel-based platform. This premium high-end represents the achievement of our next-generation server strategy. It also marks the second time an Intel-based ClearPath system is able to deliver the high-performance mission-critical characteristics, surpassing and exceeding that of high-end CMOS Libra platforms represented in yellow. Each of these platforms have a second Fabric expansion cabinet, which houses the enterprise partitionable platforms running enterprise Windows and Linux. These servers are integrated over the same Fabric-based infrastructure. Now, the Libra 460, that's our entry platform, and it will undergo a technology turn in the very early part of 2015. This graphic reviews the evolution. It confirms the progress we've achieved since the original announcement. It also shows the initiation of a new strategy that leverages the next generation technology to support an entirely new ClearPath program designed to address a much wider scope of the data center. It walks you through the CMOS offerings in 2006. In 2010, we introduced the Libra 4100, which was the first platform delivered with onboard specialty engines, such as ePortal for modernizing applications with web-based interfaces. And it was the first deployment of the secure partitioning SPAR. 2012, we released the Libra 4200, Libra 6200, which employed distributed processing nodes with onboard specialty engines. And the last picture introduces our latest architecture for ClearPath, which has the capability to include enterprise partitionable platforms, providing significant benefits. Again, this slide represents our strategic vision, moving to the new ClearPath platforms. On the left, the drawing represents our current offerings with specialty engines included in the complex. And it shows the separate Intel servers in pink and yellow within an organization running Linux or Windows. On the right-hand side, it now portrays the new ClearPath Intel platform complex, which is made up of multiple servers that can be viewed as one. As part of the strategic vision, ClearPath partitions are connected to each other via low-latency interconnect, and set of partitions and their interconnects constitute the Fabric-based infrastructure. The Unisys Fabric infrastructure is a multi-node architecture using high-speed switched interconnect that is partitionable and deploys virtualization for the purpose of supporting heterogeneous Intel-based applications, database, and operating environments within the enterprise cluster. Fabric-based infrastructure involves the creation of a computing fabric consisting of interconnected nodes that look like a weave or a fabric when viewed from a distance. Within the ClearPath Fabric platform, each secure partition constitutes a containerized server for execution of a specific workload with its own dedicated processing, memory, and I/O channel. Dedicating resources to each partition eliminates the resource contention and latency that can hamper systems using virtualization alone. Communications among the secure partitions occur at memory speed and are inherently secure, in that one fault in one partition does not affect another. Now this slide talks to the scalability achieved using the Fabric infrastructure. I believe Brian mentioned this previously. The enterprise partitionable platforms running either Windows or Linux. In the first release, you can configure anywhere from 2 to 12 enterprise partitionable platforms. These partitions delivered by SPAR software provide enhanced security, deterministic environments by dedicating memory, I/O, and resource. So this delivers predictable system behavior and high system reliability for applications. Now these are some of the platform highlights we'll be commenting on during this presentation. We're announcing substantial increases in single image capacity, single thread processor performance, previously achievable only on custom CMOS systems. The new platforms deploy a new fabric-based infrastructure. It includes contemporary I/O capabilities with massive growth in capacity, and Libra engines fully integrated into the MCP environment. The Libra 8300 represents the premium high-performance level. We will release both a non-metered and a metered model. The system will deliver 700 MIPS for single-threaded performance and 9,000 MIPS for single-image performance. Now, the predecessor, Libra 8290, delivered 620 MIPS for single-thread and 7,000 for single-image. So we've continued to make good strides, considering the Libra 8290 was just announced last August. Now for the new Libra 8300, this represents a 55% increase for single image performance if you were to compare that to a Libra 800. And it represents an 88% increase if you were to compare that to a predecessor Libra 600 model. The Libra 8300 will have high availability built in, and this will provide local redundancy for failover if there was a hardware failure. Now, the usable MCP memory is 128 gigabyte. It is fully mirrored. Again, we'll deliver a multi-cell environment, and we'll continue to utilize secure partitioning. Now, the Libra 8300 will deliver at least 200,000 IOs per second, and that is 20,000 higher than the original Libra 8290. And this IO subsystem is fully redundant. So remarkably, this is a 349% increase in IOs versus the Libra 800. The Libra 6300 is considered a high-end system, and it replaces the Libra 6200. Single-thread performance will reach 600 MIPS. Single image performance will be at 4,800 MIPS. The Libra 6300 has 96 gigabyte of MCP usable memory, and it is mirrored. And the IOs per second have been increased to an aggregate of 180,000 IOs per second. The predecessor Libra 6200 reached 160,000, so we improved upon that. Now, the other bullets on this chart are similar. The Libra 8300 and 6300 share a similar hardware design. And again, the same high availability failover features is built into the Libra 6300. Now, the three new platforms will introduce an improved operator set known as ETA, but the platform still supports object code compatibility for programs compiled under the previous Epsilon set. I have 2 more slides coming up on this, and it's something we will want to review. This slide reviews the upcoming mid-range, the Libra 4300 platform. And it has an increased single-threaded performance of 500 MIPS and a single image performance of 2,000. Now, this matches the target market, which is the Libra 600 4x. This is an ideal replacement platform. It has 48 gigabyte of MCP usable memory, and it is fully mirrored. Again, the Libra 4300 has a multi-cell architecture, but the difference is high availability, automatic failover, is considered optional. So that's why when you look at the processor memory module, you see the dotted lines around the servers, because it is considered optional. If high availability is configured, then the server requires 2 cells for the processor memory module and the I/O module. High availability must be ordered at the time of the initial shipment. It is not a field upgradable option. Now, the Libra 4300, 6300, 8300 are built for mission-critical space, offering high system reliability, pre-designed and incorporated into all platforms. Memory resiliency is achieved through error-correcting code and fully buffered DIMMs. Memory mirroring is a default. It has chip kill, which is the multi-bit error detection and correction. Power resilience is achieved through redundant hot plug power and cooling and dual AC entry for alternate power sources. Now, the next bullet in system resiliency applies to the Libra 8300 and 6300, and it would also apply to the Libra 4300 if you optionally ordered high availability. System resiliency and full redundancy is achieved through the implementation of both active and passive system components, increasing the availability of system resources, and this includes the transparent failover of MCP cells. Now, these upcoming slides cover the MCP that is required, and that's level 16, and the new ETA instruction set. Now, these slides are just a little bit technical, but we want to present these slides so you and your sales teams clearly understand what a new instruction set means, and you understand when it may or may not be necessary to recompile your code files. eMode is the instruction set for all MCP systems, and it is the compilers that generate eMode code from the source code. It is language independent, meaning the same instruction set is used for every compiler. All of our previously released systems were eMode level epsilon, and the software was compiled at what we call target equal level 5. So the previous central processing modules executed level 5 code only. So 4300, 6300, and 8300 will be released with eMode level ETA, and there are many specialized operators introduced that improve performance. Now, just as a note, it has been 10 years since we upgraded the operator set. And basically, this is because going forward, all MCP platforms will be running on Intel, and this new ETA level allows us to run closer to the Intel instruction set, and it improves MCP performance on Intel-based platforms. The operator set becomes more efficient to run on Intel, and it does that by having new formats for internal structures and specialized operators. Most Epsilon operators are still valid, and you can run your previously compiled code files on these new platforms. It supports what we call level 5 and level 6. Again, the Libra 4300, 6300, and 8300 can execute both epsilon and eta code files. There's just one point I want to emphasize. The minimum code file they can run is MCP14. So if code files were compiled with MCP13, they will have to be recompiled. The way to think about this is we support MCP level 16 and 2 levels back. So we support MCP16, MCP15, and MCP14 code files. This slide represents the distributed architecture, the cabinet layout, and it describes the interconnected cell modules. There are 2 processor memory modules. They're represented in green, and one is active and the other is passive in the event of a failover. These 2 processor memory modules represented in green, one is active and the other is passive. This module executes the MCP instruction set and are focused exclusively on IP functions. There's 2 specialty engine modules. Now, if an ISM, an IO specialty engine module, if it had a hardware malfunction, the other ISM picks up the workload when it fails over. Now, there would be some small IO degradation when you fail over because you only have one ICM, but everything is still operational. There are 2 security devices represented in gray. They provide the firewall protection to ensure access integrity. 2 operation servers represented in blue, and this provides system management functions and it monitors the MCP state. It also provides what we call PCD, peripheral configured devices management, call home, and diagnostic collections. Now this slide is for the Libra 4300 standard availability. And we won't spend too much time. All I'm pointing out it has 1 processor memory module and 1 I/O specialty engine module, since it's not fully redundant. This slide represents the Fabric expansion cabinet. This platform comes with 1 enterprise partitionable platform, which includes 2 Intel processors at 3.3 gigahertz, 8 cores each. It includes 128 gigabyte of memory, which can be expanded. And it is also includes 7 host bus adapter cards that are pre-configured. And you can see it's the Ethernet and the NIC cards and the high-speed interconnect. The Fabric management platform provides system management functions for enterprise Windows and Linux. Now, we've also listed the operating systems that are supported, and you can obviously see the levels of Windows and SUSE Linux, etc. And these can be supplied by Unisys or customer supplied, as some customers, will have a master license agreement directly with Microsoft. Again, this represents the minimum configuration. And when we move to the next slide, the Fabric expansion cabinet on the right-hand side is an example of a cabinet loaded with the maximum number of enterprise partitionable platforms. The next few slides are really just diagrams of what's contained in each Libra platform, and it gives us a different view of how the MCPs are connected and the distributed architecture. Now, the I/O specialty engine module houses I/O processing, and it uses dual high-speed connections to access MCP memory. The IOP agent in the processor memory module assists with this access and sends I/O requests to the IOP. The dual high-speed connections between the processor memory module and the I/O specialty engine module are what we call 56 gigabit, and it's called FDR, or 14 data rate. This is a very similar slide. And again, we show the processor memory module and the ISM module with the high-speed interconnect. Those two connections are for bandpass and for redundancy. The workload is distributed across all available InfiniBand connections between a processor memory module and the I/O engine. The next part of this presentation provides a pictorial that describes both the ClearPath Compute Complex and the Fabric Expansion Cabinet, representing the Fabric-based infrastructure. The ClearPath Processing Complex is made up of multiple servers, switches, and integrated appliances. It deploys a high-speed switched fabric, which allows the platform to tightly integrate enterprise Windows and Linux application partitions within the high-speed fabric. These enterprise and Linux processing nodes can be added 2 to 12. The standard product comes with the Fabric Expansion Cabinet and 1 EPP, and another 11 can be added. The ClearPath Compute Complex is made up of 2 cabinets, ClearPath Cabinet, Fabric Expansion Cabinet. And this chart shows you where everything goes or gets installed. First, the MCP complex is installed in Cabinet 1. The high-performance switched fabric is integrated within both cabinets. And the 1 to 12 enterprise partitionable platforms are installed in Cabinet 2. Now here's a high-level diagram of a fully redundant Libra 4300 HA, high availability, Libra 6300 and 8300 models during normal operations. As you can see, the ISMs both active with a fully redundant paths to both disk and tape and MCP networking. Now this diagram shows 4 paths to storage and networking, but that is configurable based on the customer's requirements. If you look at the processor memory modules, one is active and the other is a hot standby. They're running the E-mode engine, but only one PMM is active and able to execute MCP at any one time. Similarly, there's 2 operation server, one active, one standby, running system management, but only one operation server is in control of the system. All of these active components are cross-coupled on the management LAN to the redundant LAN switches. This is denoted with the dotted blue lines. These switches are both active and are also redundantly connected to each other. And each switch connects to one of a pair of active secure access devices, providing a secure redundant path out to the public LAN for management purposes. Now the system management engine is on the active operation server is continuously monitoring for system health and redundancy, and it's constantly checking for the heartbeat. The active operations server is checking everything, constantly pinging and monitoring all secure partitions, and it even detects if a cable is pulled. Included in that monitoring activity are all the active and standby components as well as the management LAN. Alerts are raised to the MCP console and call home events are issued if any anomalies are detected, such as a component failure or a network port failure. Local recovery to the standby MCP cell can be configured to be either manually initiated, requiring a system operator to confirm the recovery action, or automatically initiated, where the standby MCP will automatically recognize the failure of the active MCP cell, and it will automatically recover the system environment to the standby cell. Unisys tries to continue to enhance our original offerings and provide more features. Many of these features are what customers tell us about, or they file a new feature suggestion. Now, This chart is represented, broken down into 4 categories: resiliency, functionality, ease of use, supportability. And we'll just cover a few. We now have the programmatic recovery of a failed IOP. So if the MCP attempts to recover a failed IOP are unsuccessful, the MCP is now able to programmatically reinitialize the IOP. And that is something that formerly required manual intervention. Dual port tape. Tape drives capable of supporting 2 host connections are now supported. So that's 2 host bus adapters to 1 tape. Paths to a tape device from 1 ISM. A tape device may now have a host connection from each ISM. We'll go down to ease of use. We have a new open management interface for power control. This is an industry standard that may now be used to remotely control the power status of these new systems. Shared tape devices. It's now possible to use the same tape device, now not at the same time, but you can use the same tape device on more than one system using the free and acquire command. We've tried to create multiple performance positioning slides that may help you compare the performance and other system attributes to help you better position each platform being released. Now this is a simple, straightforward summary chart. Here we show the memory in gigawords, and this all shows the maximum logical unit number count, the LUNs. This slide compares MCP attributes on the new Libra 4380, 6380, and 8380. These are all non-metered platforms. And it shows this in comparison to the replacement target market. So for instance, the Libra 680 can be compared to a Libra 4300, and you can line up the system attributes. This is a very similar chart, another cross-reference of system attributes, allowing the product or attribute comparison. And of course on this slide we're showing metered systems. Again, you could take a look at this Libra 6390, compare it to a Libra 690, whether it's a 4x or 8x. Another quick summary slide showing all 3 platforms with all the performance attributes, and this contained on one slide. We separate it between metered and non-metered. This chart shows the entry MIPS range by platform, and that was not in the previous charts. And it also shows the monthly metered run rate, and that's like the 3rd column from the end. Now in the notes section, it shows the best target market for each platform. In many instances, the Libra 600 4x may be best suited to the Libra 4300 platform, and the Libra 600 8x platform may elect to migrate to the Libra 6300. So in every instance, I mean, it's unique to each customer and their application workload, but that just is to give you a flavor. Now we're representing the performance statistics by platform. This slide is grouped by CMOS platforms in the green bars, our existing Intel-based platforms in the light blue bars, and our new upcoming platforms in dark blue. The small number the number in the small boxes represents the single-threaded MIPS, and the actual bar represents the single image performance. Now we try to show this in various views so you can use what you need for your perusal. Again, this performance chart is grouped by CMOS, and then we've grouped together all our Intel platforms, and the new ones are represented in the dark blue color. So you can see the single threaded performance in the box as well as the single image performance. This performance chart talks to the meter platforms, and they have a diagram in the performance dial. So if you take a look at the 4390, on that bar, it has the minimum MIP level at 20. Then it shows the 70% run rate, which is the number 1400 in white. The yellow is 500 single-threaded performance with a 2000 MIP ceiling. And then we're showing again the Libra 8380 and the new metered 8390 with its 9,000 single image performance. The next three slides describe the IOs per second. I'm going to talk to this slide and then go through the others quick. The enterprise class system performance requires a high capacity responsive IO subsystem to be effective. This new architecture, which was completely rewritten and originally released with the Libra 4100, continues to deliver impressive results. It provides an increased I/O performance over the predecessor platforms. It supports contemporary I/O connections, such as 16 gigabit fiber channel connections and 10 gigabit Ethernet connections. The design offers fully integrated support for Fabric and modern storage system, and it will have a very positive effect on system performance and is likely to improve batch time. Now, the Libra 4300, 6300, and 8300 offers multiple, up to 8, overlapped IOs to disk and multiple IOs to a LUN. This reduces the latency time. As an added benefit, you do not need to have lots and lots of small LUNs declared for performance purposes. Instead, you get much better I/O parallelism with fewer LUNs. We also support hot add of I/O devices. The Libra 4300 scales to an aggregate of 90,000 IOs per second, and that is 2 times the capacity of a fully configured Libra 600. The Libra 6300 incorporates dual independent MCP I/O engines that offer an aggregate of 180,000 IOs per second. This is 4 times the capacity of a fully configured Libra 600 system and 3.2 times the capacity of a fully configured Libra 800. So you can see we do have some dramatic improvements in I/O. And lastly, the Libra 8300 with dual independent MCP I/O engines scales to an aggregate of 200,000 IOs per second. That's 3.5 times the capacity of a fully configured Libra 800. Now this slide addresses the different workloads that can be licensed. The traditional workloads are pictured or shaded in purple. The metering workloads are shaded in teal. The items in purple represent the traditional non-metered platforms. The operating system is licensed as a general purpose production license, or it could be licensed as a software development kit that includes all compilers and development tools, or a special license for enterprise application environment for rapid application development. Specialty engines are on board, and this essentially saves the cost of deploying yet another server. And all of the systems, all 3 systems, include the software license for ePortal Business. We continue to offer capacity on demand, most often used for disaster recovery keys and temporary workload keys. An example of this is a disaster recovery software key, which in the event of a disaster, the cold backup platform can raise its performance level to that of the production platform for 30 days. Another example is temporary workload, which allows performance increases for a certain number of days and is often used at year-end or quarter-end when more transactions are processed. A key element of the ClearPath architecture is an inclusion of the new operating environments and functions through specialty engines. Specialty partitions utilize an integrated processor resource that is designed specifically to extend supported capabilities such as Java programs or web services. Specialty partitions offload functions from the MCP processor, providing a more cost-effective and implementation of these key technologies. Each partition incorporates integration software and connection technologies that make it a transparent extension of your native MCP system. So ePortal is an end-to-end integrated and highly automated solution for extending ClearPath applications onto the web to smartphones and other mobile devices and into service-oriented environments. This slide reviews the connectivity for networks and storage, which is very contemporary with industry standard offerings. There are 4 user-configurable I/O slots. We offer 2 Ethernet adapters, 1 gigabit, which is quad-ported, or 10 gigabit, which is dual-ported, fiber channel cards, 8 gigabit, that's quad-ported, and the 16 gigabit is dual-ported. Excuse me. If configuring the 8 gigabit HBA, it can auto-negotiate excuse me, from 8 gigabit, 4 gigabit, and 2 gigabit fiber channel cards. This represents the I/O connectivity for high availability platforms. And what I want to mention is this, we're talking about I/O ports. I'm not talking about cards. This is ports. Excuse me. If you look at the purple box, reference the first and third items, you can have 8 to 24 8 gigabit fiber channel connections and 8 to 24 1 gigabit Ethernet connections. And that's because the HBAs are quad-ported. If you look at the second and fourth lines, you can have 4 to 12, 16 gigabit fiber channel connections, and 4 to 12, 10 gigabit fiber channel, 10 gigabit Ethernet ports. If necessary, storage and network connections can be further expanded through the addition of switches. This presentation really highlights the server platform, but it is important that we briefly review the supported peripherals. The Libra 4300, 6300, and 8300 will support all the same external disk and tape, and this slide shows the wide variety of peripherals that are qualified and supported on the new platform. There's a wide array of EMC disk subsystems qualified, including the DMX3, DMX4, VMAX, and VNX disk. Also supported is the Clarion CX4 disk. We've also included the external fiber channel tape, and it lists our offerings from Oracle as well as DSI for linear tape options. To complete the storage offerings, this slide shows the virtual tape offerings as well as the fiber channel switches that are qualified and supported from Brocade and Cisco. This slide starts to wrap up this part of the presentation. ClearPath investment focus ensures that we deliver ongoing enhancements to keep pace with rapid changes in business and introduce new technology that accommodate transparent growth, technologies to accelerate application development, and a continued focus on mission-critical environment needed for organizations' large-scale solutions. The key elements that make up our ClearPath environment and establish a new family of ClearPath servers, new technology to enhance and modernize solutions, and it includes an expanded array of open Windows and Linux partitions. In summary, we continue to sustain and support the important ClearPath mainframe attributes, which includes high reliability, object code compatibility, and enterprise-class security. New platforms are deployed on the latest Intel server technology along with our new Fabric-based infrastructure. Ultimately, this new ClearPath environment established a much more capable data center, and the new ClearPath systems provide the major next step in establishing data center value that is unique to ClearPath. Now, this concludes my presentation, and I would like to thank you for attending. And now I would like to turn this over to Larry Obey, and he will discuss new ClearPath software products. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. During the next few minutes, I'm going to be discussing 5 new software products that we've introduced with MCP 16.0 and with these new platforms. The first new product is a relational database server for the MCP environment, and that's complemented by a new product called Application Integration Services that makes it easier to build distributed applications that incorporate resources from both the Windows and MCP environments. In the security area, we have a disk encryption product that you can use to, on the host, encrypt VSS2 disks. And we have a software inventory assessment utility that can help answer the auditor's questions about what software releases you're running. And finally, we have a new data center data compression product that you can use to reduce the time to transfer large quantities of data across networks. We have a new relational database product for the MCP environment that you can use to create and update relational databases. Now, we didn't build this product from scratch. We're leveraging a mature data management infrastructure that we've developed over the last 40 years. This new relational database product is separately orderable and priced. So it uses SQL to define new relational databases. You can also use SQL to access existing DMS2 databases. The relational database servers provide SQL available to Java, COBOL, and Algol applications. It also includes some tools for interactively doing ad hoc queries and also loading large quantities of data into a database, a bulk loading tool. We're positioning this new database as a peer to DMS2, and along with DMS2, it shares a common data management infrastructure that we've built over the last several decades. This includes the data access routines, database utility functions, and also the audit and recovery capabilities. This slide summarizes some of the SQL capabilities that are available with this new database. The SQL level is SQL 92 entry level plus extensions. It has date and time functions. It has a dynamic schema capability that improves availability, so there's no need to close the database when you need to change the schema. It includes large object support, transaction isolation, various character string operations, and various conversions of data types. Application Integration Services is a new product that's designed to make cross-platform application development easier. We're going to use this product to give you some value-added capabilities that are not available in standard-based integration tools. So you can use this product to develop applications that have to leverage resources from multiple environments, such as the ClearPath environment and the Microsoft.NET framework. And it's also a separately orderable and priced product. The initial release of this product will provide capabilities to access MCP files from applications running in the Microsoft.NET framework. So they're running on Windows servers or Windows PCs. It provides 2 APIs, one that we call a Windows API that works similar to the .NET library System I/O. And then there's an MCP API that provides access to what looks like the MCP file API that you have available in Algol or COBOL. And one of its features is it provides access to all the MCP file attributes to an application running in the .NET framework. In the security arena, we have a new host-based disk encryption product that you can use to protect sensitive data from unauthorized access and tampering in the event that a disk is stolen, lost, or decommissioned. It works with the VSS2 disks, and it's designed to help satisfy the requirements that you have to face from legislators, regulators, and auditors. It's also separately orderable and priced, and it's available exclusively on the Libra 4300, 6300, and 8300 series of servers. This product uses the IOP firmware to do disk encryption. So it's designed to minimize additional CPU usage. Use of the product is controlled by a software license key that you receive when you license the product. So the encryption is completely transparent to application programs. Application programs simply write and read unencrypted data. The IO firmware handles all the encryption and decryption, and so encrypted data is passed from the IOP out to the disk devices. As I mentioned earlier, it's available exclusively with VSS2 disks, and it uses the XTS AES 256 encryption algorithm. The software inventory assessment utility is designed to help answer the auditor's question, what version of software are you running? This new product is bundled in all of our operating environment packages, and it produces a report that outlines what system software libraries and automatically initiated programs are running. It lists their file names and versions in the form of the release ID attributes. And it's produced in an XML format so that you can incorporate the data easily into other reports or other documents that you're providing your auditors. The final new product is a data compression product, and this is designed to reduce the data transfer times on networks and also data storage requirements. The way we've built this product is that it can be used as a utility in conjunction with other products. So in MCP 16.0, you can use the data compression product with the wrap file enabler product, so that when you wrap some MCP files into a container file, you can also compress them. So we think this will be useful when you're having to transfer large amounts of data over slow networks, or you're sending data to multiple locations. It's also a new product which is separately orderable and priced. This product uses a variant of the LZW compression algorithm. Examples of files that can be compressed include any text files, code files, log files, dump files. You don't want to compress JPEG or similar compressed image data files or very small files. Now, in order to use this product with wrap, we've added syntax to the wrap WIFL command so that you can do wrap and compress in a single operation. Some implementation considerations: like other compression utilities in the industry, compressing text data saves a lot more space than compressing binary data. We recommend that you test the product with a small sample of data before actually deploying it in production. We're offering two versions of the data compression product. The first is a firmware-based product where the compression and decompression is actually implemented in the system's firmware. It's designed to minimize additional MCP CPU overhead. This is available on the new servers, the Libra 4300, the 6300, and the 8300 series. The second product is a software-based product that's implemented in the MCP, so it tends to be CPU intensive. We're making the software version product, the software-based compression product rather, available on earlier MCP servers that also support 16.0. The reason we're doing this is that so you have complete interoperability between both products. If you've got a mixed data center that has some of the newer servers and some of the older servers, and you want to be able to use the compression product to move data between them, or you've got systems in different locations, you can have the firmware-based product running on the newer systems and the software-based product running on the older systems, and you have complete interoperability between the two products. So this concludes the end of the new software product section, and I'm going to turn the floor over to Ritva, who's going to talk about some ClearPath information services. Ritva?
Hello, everyone. First of all, we have huge amounts of new collateral, new material, and information for you. But before I go there, I just want to show a little bit what we've done this year. we have had a very, very busy 2014, and perhaps interesting to you is the ClearPath ePortal announcement April 3rd, and MCP software release 16, April 30th, and the ClearPath services that Isaac will talk a little bit more. And here we are today with ClearPath Libra announcement. So very busy year, and for example, all of these have webinars, and webinar recordings are available. ePortal has a demo showing how you can integrate ClearPath applications with smartphone applications, and MCP webinar absolutely full of all sorts of interesting news and capabilities. So how do you found information? How can you find information, and where is all the new information we have created? First of all, Unisys.com has been updated. You can find from their specification sheets. You can find all the executive brochures there. You get emails. Here is the link for you to register if you are not registered by now to get our emails. And then there are the newsletters, a ClearPath Connection, and Developing Agility. Here is the link how to subscribe, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about the newsletters and the webinars and their recordings, as I mentioned, and then the social media. The ClearPath blog has is obviously very ClearPath specific, and yesterday there was a new blog by Brian Herculoe, so you may want to check it out. There's a lots of different bloggers in that blog. I find them very interesting, everyone with their own voice, with their own insights. And I can tell you that there are more blogs coming related to these announcements and kind of insights and personal views. YouTube is ClearPath specific channel. There's over 100 very, very technical how-to videos, and then some high-level videos. We use Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter to tell you when we have some news, new newsletter, new event, and so on. So, but we use corporate Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So feel free to use those. I've also using promotion tab in the Unisys mainframes group, if you follow that. But those are not discussions, they are promotions. So press releases, ebooks, high-level material, very technical material, and all sorts of stuff. Newsletters. So I'm so happy to tell you that the new ClearPath Connection June version is out, and it is fully dedicated to the ClearPath launch, to these systems. There's a lead article talking about committed to your success today and tomorrow. It's more business level, and it's by Brian Herculoe. Then there is a ClearPath Fabric-based system. It's more about what the Fabric is, what is Fabric lifestyle. There is an article describing the new Dorado systems and the new Libra systems. Then MCP 16 release article 16 times the awesome. And also the new tool called ClearPath Application Integration Services that was just described. So it's brand new. It should be in your mailbox. It was sent out yesterday. And if you don't, there are many ways to get to find that subscription button, for example, through our social media. So developing agility is also new. I just want to mention it. There's an interesting article about ePortal and many other things as well. So here are the new newsletters. Ebooks. We have a brand new ebook called Understanding the Economics of the ClearPath Systems. It's related to the white paper with the same name. And I'm always told that people who are financially oriented find them very interesting. We also have updated how to shift your IT focus from administration to innovation. It has gone through quite an update, and all the new services that Isaac has been working for you. and it's also available. We will be doing the fabric-based systems ebook. The ClearPath MCP case study ebook is a little bit, it's been there for a while, but it is still extremely interesting and compelling. These are high level to your new people or people who are very busy and don't have time to read. New collateral for these new systems, or on new information. Press release was done yesterday. Here is the link, Unisys Boost Power and Flexibility for ClearPath clients with new models using advanced fabric architecture. And there is some, and we are seeing press media coverage of that too. Newsletter, here is again that link, all dedicated for this launch. Then we have 4 brochures. One is called ClearPath Executive Overview. I think the name tells everything. The other one is ensuring a continuity of ClearPath skills today and tomorrow. I think you'll find it interesting. ClearPath Application Services, the new tool, simplifying cross-platform development, and ClearPath Fabric-based systems. So these are executive briefs or overviews, or some call them glosses. They are all brand new, and you would find them through unisys.com if you find the new systems, or these are actually embedded links when you get the presentation. And I also added the link for all the ClearPath MCP webinars because that's where we post all the new webinars that we do, all the recordings and the PowerPoint. White paper is coming at some point in ebook. Some point is July. So hope you find it interesting. I'd like to say a couple of words about this achieving workforce continuity. There is many different elements you can do. You have new people or people retiring. One key element is customer education. And you can train your employees regarding the application development, system management, middleware, databases, operation, and so on and so on. We have a very rich set of training available today. Services is a second element. We can help you to address your business requirements, technical requirements, tailor them for you, and particularly looking at the workforce continuity. There are a number of services like advisory services, ClearPath application modernization services, and ClearPath managed services, and more. And the third element is different tools. We've been for a long time providing products that you can develop, deploy, and manage ClearPath-based applications using industry standard tools and skills. And so that has been something we've done a long time. Now we added a new tool, the application integration services, and I can tell you we will be adding more. And so we have all the modern development things listed here. The fourth element is that it's important to document the applications so that you can transfer the knowledge of the business processes to the new employees. We have services to help there, and we can help you with the tools. And actually, there are many other elements. For example, the fifth element, these new systems are so much simplifying the overall data center. Just a couple of words about the customer education. As I said, we have a very rich set of training available. We have these course catalogs, ClearPath MCP course catalog, and ClearPath OS 2200 and MCP Specialty Partition catalog, and AB Suite course catalog. And so it can be classroom training at your side or at the Unisys side. It can be self-paced. It can be instructor-led. It can be, and this is important, tailored for you. And what I'm seeing more and more, that we are tailoring the overall training program, that is programs to our customers, that is very customer-specific, addressing their needs. So we have a lot to offer there. So emails, where in the newsletters we have lots of content. Emails is typically just, we want to communicate typically one thing for you, invite you to a webinar or things like that. So this is how our emails look like. I hope you've all seen these. If you haven't, you can go to unisys.com and go to my site, my Unisys, and say you welcome emails from us. And with that, I will now hand over to Isaac Levy.
Thank you, Ritva. I appreciate it. So my name's Isaac Levy. I'm the Global Director for ClearPath Services, and today I'd like to do a brief overview of our ClearPath Services portfolio with specific emphasis on our ClearPath Application Modernization Services. So many of our clients tell us that their goal is faster, cost-effective, and responsive IT. But do you see yourself in this picture? Today's reality is that the CIO must align IT delivery with business goals and objectives. But do you find yourself facing these kinds of challenges? Challenges like cost. You need to maximize your overall IT budget, which seems to get scarcer every year. Your mobile users may want access right now to enterprise applications, but that might have you looking at a long development cycle, something that can be sped up enormously with application, for example, of ePortal to reface applications for cell phones and for tablets and for web services. You know, you have significant investments tied up in your ClearPath applications, and these may have become very complex or perhaps neglected over the years or undocumented. You need to retain the value of all that custom business logic that often differentiates you from your competition, but you might wonder how. Many of you are being pressured to drive to modernization and to x86 or Intel x86 technology, but you might be worried about exposing yourself and your business to unknown risks. And many of you are worried that if you migrate to different applications and different systems, the costs will be high and the risks will be higher. Most importantly and pervasively, many of our ClearPath customers are worried about brain drain. They're worried that the people that maintain and operate their ClearPath applications and systems may leave their IT organization in the near term through retirement or other forms of attrition. Now, CIOs know that their top business drivers are things like cost containment, accelerating business processes, and optimizing their existing investments. In order to contain costs, many CIOs already know they need to understand total costs, not just hardware acquisition and licensing costs. Otherwise, they can't make good decisions on IT spending, and migrations can be very costly and risky. To accelerate business processes, you need to be able to develop new applications that take advantage of your existing applications and data. And now you have to rapidly satisfy the needs of mobile users. Now, you'd probably like to get more automation to use more automation to reduce human error, but you can't afford mistakes and downtime to get in the way of business continuity. And most importantly, most of you have a large investment in your mission-critical enterprise applications. But you're probably concerned about two things. One, how to preserve these applications for the long term, which means replacing skills as your experts leave or retire. And how do you maximize the use of what you've already paid for? You've heard about how many valuable tools are in the ClearPath integrated stack, but maybe you're not leveraging enough of these ClearPath technologies to improve applications integration, reduce costs, and address new market trends. Or maybe you don't even know how much value you've already licensed when you license ClearPath tools, like the ClearPath operating systems. Perhaps you're paying for other management and development tools you don't really need. So, how can you balance IT drivers and mission-critical applications challenges? Unisys can help. We can help you leverage your investments in ClearPath by showing you how to make best use of the modernization, integration, and automation technologies that are already included with ClearPath, including technologies such as ePortal, other specialty engines, and especially the forward fabric architecture included with the new ClearPath systems that securely supports high-volume Linux and Windows workloads. We can help you develop, deploy, and operate ClearPath applications and systems using industry standard skills and tools. We can help you increase the skills base that supports your mission-critical applications. You know, we provide an extensive set of integration technologies and modern development environments that lets you leverage IT skills that are already readily available. Unisys have a unique ability to support ClearPath technologies and applications based on our deep expertise and experience. Nobody knows more about ClearPath than Unisys. So we're here to help guide you to address your current and long-term concerns, to lend a helping, trusted hand in your modernization initiatives. We can help you by applying ClearPath mission-critical services. That's an integrated and holistic portfolio of services that focus on ClearPath. We start with ClearPath advisory services to help you value and select the best IT initiatives and projects. Those include ClearPath application advisory services, the ClearPath appraisal service to measure your integration and automation maturity, and our TCO assessment services. Our ClearPath services portfolio also includes ClearPath technology consulting services, such as integration services, automation services, such as disaster recovery and business continuance automation, as well as implementation services and technology support services. Our portfolio also includes ClearPath operational services and our ClearPath application outsourcing services. Those are managed services to help you focus on the important aspects of your business while we take care of managing and operating your ClearPath applications and platforms. And of course, we offer ClearPath applications modernization services, which we're going to focus on in a moment. You know, we take a modular approach. We let you select the services elements you need when you need them, rather than a big bang approach where we do everything for you, because we know that there are certain things that you want to do yourselves and certain things that you would like us to help you with. And these services can evolve with your needs over time. So now let's focus on ClearPath application modernization services for a few minutes. Modernization of business applications using key enabling trends, as opposed to costly and risky rip-and-replace initiatives, can significantly improve your project success rates while providing a superior return on investment with a fraction of the implementation risk. ClearPath application modernization services help you strategically prioritize and deliver modernization initiatives that protect existing investments in enterprise applications while leveraging disruptive IT trends and capabilities such as SOA, or service-oriented architecture, web enablement, business process management, next-generation mobile enablement, and application integration, all supported by modern development environments. We focus on modernizing mission-critical business applications to extend the life of your existing investments and to help you leverage already existing skills and tools available in the industry, for example, Eclipse and Visual Studio, to be able to maintain your applications. Application modernization is a journey of transformation. Transformation from an as-is state in which your current or future needs aren't completely met to a future to-be state in which organizational needs are addressed and met. Now, for ClearPath customers, this often means leveraging best use of ClearPath databases, development environments, integration tools, and other valuable ClearPath technologies like ePortal and JProcessor. Now, part of this transformation can also be better integration of Linux and Windows workloads with ClearPath, taking advantage of the unique Fabric architecture and forward partitions included with the new ClearPath systems. And so looking at the ClearPath application modernization services portfolio, we have ClearPath transformation services, and if you look to the right of the slide, you'll see that includes application optimization, re-architecting of applications, for example, being able to break the applications down into bite-sized chunks that you can then service enable so that you can more easily maintain those applications and reuse elements of those applications in new applications to increase business agility. We provide ClearPath application modernization and integration services, and service-oriented architecture design and implementation services. Also within our ClearPath application modernization services portfolio are ClearPath mobility application services, leveraging ePortal and other valuable technologies to bring the face of mobility of cell phones and tablets as well as web services very quickly to your ClearPath applications. We provide Agile Business Suite services to help you migrate your EAE applications to AB Suite and other valuable services with AB Suite to, for example, integrate ePortal with AB Suite. We provide for the Dorado Systems Business Information Server services. And then in large engagements, we often include customer program and project management services. The reason we do that is in large complex engagements, it makes sense to have a single contact, a single place to go to manage those engagements, to communicate about those engagements, to make sure that they stay on track and don't exceed time or budget that's been allocated. And so those customer program management services are often included in large application modernization engagements. Let's talk about a client of ours, the General Services Administration, or GSA, which is a U.S. federal agency that's similar to many other ClearPath customers, though perhaps somewhat larger, where we've provided valuable ClearPath application modernization services. Now, the GSA is a $40+ billion enterprise. They run over 80 applications on their ClearPath servers, and they have over 200 technologies in use. On their ClearPath servers, they run over 7 million lines of code, and they're the hub for many other U.S. federal government agencies. They utilize ClearPath infrastructure, Libra servers, but they're a multi-vendor, multi-platform agency with much integration between the Libra servers and Windows and Linux and Unix servers. They had some challenges for application modernization and leveraging their ClearPath investments. You know, over the years, Unisys has supported and helped deliver a variety of application modernization initiatives at the GSA, starting in year 2000 with web enablement, progressing over the years to provide high availability, Java support through use of JProcessor and other technologies, mobile enablement using ePortal, and successfully providing new web services, a search engine, and content management systems. Recently, the GSA's business issue was the need to streamline their web and mobile enablement. They had a requirement for web-based applications, web services, and even more recently, mobile enablement on ClearPath using cutting-edge technologies to enhance the ROI of their ClearPath applications. So our response was to deliver ClearPath application modernization services. We addressed the GSA's requirements by applying a variety of web and mobile techniques using JProcessor and ePortal technologies and other technologies through the delivery of ClearPath application modernization services. For example, their COBOL applications were web-enabled using ePortal and WebPCM technologies on ClearPath. Their COBOL applications were then exposed as web services to the external world using ePortal and MGS web technologies. Elements of the GSA's fleet management system were mobile-enabled using ePortal. And this is a really, really cool story because what they were doing was gathering information on cars in their huge fleet of cars and other transport vehicles, trucks and the like, and they would upload in a batch process every night, that data. And so there was a gap in terms of when that data was available to other users within the GSA. Using ePortal, they were able to update their fleet management system so that that information was updated immediately and then immediately available to the rest of the organization. Now, they also introduced Java applications using Java Enterprise Edition and JBoss on the JProcessor. They did a proof of concept on Drupal content management with PHP access to their DMS2 database. And they also have plans to use Jaspersoft open source business intelligence reporting on the J processor to connect DMS2 using the JDBC driver and our SQL query processor. So why did the customer choose ClearPath Java? Well, they were able to consolidate their applications on ClearPath, and that helped them achieve a more effective ROI from ClearPath. And it gave them the ability for ClearPath to act as an open system in their enterprise. And so the benefits that they accrued included the fact that their applications were consolidated onto a single environment. In fact, over the years, the GSA has moved existing workloads to ClearPath from other environments. The GSA were able to uplift and enhance their user interfaces using cutting-edge technologies like JProcessor and ePortal. They were able to add critical business functionalities to applications with greatly enhanced agility. They reduced their cost and thus saved taxpayer money. And these solutions extended their use of the scalability, reliability, and security of ClearPath. These solutions also eliminated the risks involved in migration of applications and functionality to other platforms. And so I'd like to leave you with a final thought. You've already invested in ClearPath. We can help you make best use of the technologies and tools that are included with ClearPath to improve the TCO and ROI of your technology investments and to help you sustain the value of your mission-critical applications and operations for the long term. And so I'd like to thank you for listening, and now I'd like to hand back over to Matt to field your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac, and that does bring us to the Q&A portion of today's presentation. Again, if you do have questions for our presenters, you can send those using the question box on the lower right-hand side of your control panel. We have had a few questions come across, and we'll try to get to as many of those as we can. I know we are running just a little bit long today. So the first question that we have is, we currently have a Libra 8290. How does memory management work for different partitions on the Libra 8390? Can we expand memory for each partition? How many processors can be assigned to each Windows partition? So kind of a two-parter there. And Brian, did you want to take that? Brian, are you on mute? Okay, we can go ahead and move on to the next question. Are there also other variant or FS systems comparable to these new systems?
Hi, Matt. This is Diane. There are not any financial services series that have been released yet, but that will follow in the next 2 to 3 months. So we will be making a financial services FS series announcement that is based on some of these new platforms. But we have not done so yet. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Diane. The next question we have is, will eMode ETA be available on the previous generation Libra 4200, 6200, 8200 servers?
Matt, this is Larry. I'll answer that one. The answer is no. eMode data is available exclusively on the Libra 4300, 6300, and 8300 series. If you need to compile a program that will run on both an older system and the newer systems, you should compile it with the target level 5 or eMode Epsilon, so that it'll run on both the older systems as well as the newer systems.
Excellent. Thank you. And the next question I have is, can inventory software tell me for each COBOL what version I have?
No. The inventory assessment utility looks at the release ID attribute, which is something we set in system software. Right now it's only looking at it for libraries, SL libraries, and also automatically initiated programs. Now for COBOL programs and other applications, the compiler puts some information about the compiler versions in the code files, and you can use the existing system file data utility to access that information. It has a request called the code file info request that you can use with file data to get information about the code file versions and other information that the compiler puts in the code file. The documentation for that product is in the System Software Utilities Operations Reference Manual.
Excellent, thank you. And then I believe we have Brian back online with us here. Brian, if you want to go ahead and answer the... Yes, we have you there.
Okay, thank you.
So back to that first question, we currently have Libra 8290. How does memory management work for different partitions of the Libra 8390?
Yes, I understand. I'll answer it quickly. Sorry, the plug was out of the phone. But anyway, first of all, the Libra complex, the MCP host complex, is not partitionable. I believe the question is referring to the enterprise partition platforms that house enterprise Windows and Linux that are tightly integrated with the ClearPath host environment. And there are many, many options that are available for the partition sizes as well as the memory. And it's too lengthy of a list to go into. We can make sure that we will get you the correct information, but I'll just give you a quick example. You can have up to 12 partitions in each enterprise partitionable platform in the Fabric. You could have a small partition that would have one core. You could have or an extra small partition that would have one core, and that could have either 16 or 32 gigabytes of memory. You could have a small partition that has two cores with up to 128 gigabytes of memory. You could have medium partitions, large partitions, and the maximum partition. The key is that it's variable, and that another key point is that memory must be ordered from manufacturing to be installed in the factory. It cannot be installed in the field. So if maximum partition capabilities, if you need maximum partition capabilities, you would want to take that into account when ordering.
Excellent. Thank you, Brian. The next question we have is, will ePortal Enterprise be supported?
Yes.
Excellent. And then I know that we are running just a little bit long on our time, as I mentioned before, so this will probably be the last question that we have time for today. Again, if we didn't get to your questions during the last session, we will follow up with you directly via email. But the next question I have is, how does the power requirements of the new systems compare with existing systems?
I'll field that one as well, Matt. The power requirements are very similar, but obviously you have expanded the capabilities with the Fabric infrastructure. The host complexes would be very similar to the existing platforms, but you would need to take into account the Fabric infrastructure and its expandability.
Perfect. Thank you. And as I mentioned, that does conclude all the time that we do have for questions today. Again, if we didn't get to your questions during a live session, we will follow up with you directly. And with that, Brian, I guess I'd just like to leave it with you for any closing statements that you have for the audience.
Thank you, Matt. Yes, I would just like to thank everybody for hanging in there with us and appreciate your time today. And any questions, feel free to send to us, and we will make sure that we get the correct responses to you. Thanks again, everybody.
Excellent. And I'd like to go ahead and thank all of our presenters for another fantastic presentation. That does conclude today's event. The recorded version of today's webinar will be made available for download on the Unisys website. And as you exit the webinar, please be sure to fill out a brief survey and give us your feedback. Again, I would like to thank everyone for attending, and have a great day.